Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of the Going for Three podcast. I'm your host, Tony Farr, aka G. With me, as always, are Percy Thomas, aka PPP, and Chris Collins, aka Hot Takes. Good evening, gentlemen. How we doing?
I'm feeling good, man. Good weekend, good everything, man.
Doing good, man. Doing good. I'm not even gonna say it this week. We're just gonna move on. I'm not even gonna say it this week.
If it do it.
Not even gonna do it right now.
Not even going to do it? You got to do it. It's kind of like a catchphrase now.
Okay, Lakers in 2. I don't even believe it right now, man.
That's the enthusiasm was lacking on that, but that's all right.
Yeah.
You gotta add on to it like Lakers in 4 until they get back to 2.
Man. Shit, I'm finna be like shit. Lakers in the Western Conference. This is as far as I can go.
Lakers in the division.
Yeah, Lakers in the division. Let's go. Actually, no, the Warriors in the division. I can't even confidently say that.
Yeah.
We'll work on it, man.
All right, so let's get started with a couple of news and notes from the NBA. First, DeMarcus Cousins signed with the Bucks. I'm not seeing any impact, but maybe he seems like he's washed at this point. But I don't know. I mean, maybe he can in limited minutes he can contribute.
No, I think absolutely he can contribute. I mean, Brook Lopez, if I'm not mistaken, hasn't played at all this season. So, I mean, they haven't really been getting his production, so they're trying to fill that void right now. I mean, ideally, DeMarcus should be able to stretch the floor. Probably not to the level that Brook can, but I'm assuming they're bringing him in to kind of fill that void and get that spacing going. But
I mean, yeah. He's pretty much what Brook is. He's pretty much what Brook Lopez gives them, just minus the rim protecting ability.
I mean, but that rim protecting ability is very important.
It's very crucial.
And I don't know. It's I kind of struggle with this kind of because like I know Brook could put up with a bigger role. Brook could give you more, but I kind of feel that way about Boogie to a certain extent. With like his last 2 stops with Houston and the Clippers, like I feel like if he had a bigger role or more minutes, I think he could still, give you more. So I'm not sure, but I mean the rim protection is definitely not the same.
But, yeah. In Houston, him and Wall were like clicking for the first few stints until like they really like decided to just move on completely from it.
Yeah.
There's hope for the move. I mean, honestly, I don't really see the point because like Bobby Portis and Giannis have been holding it down, but I guess like their bench unit with like Thanasis and Nuwara just wasn't doing it for him.
They probably want to keep Bobby on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, probably. So. I would assume.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know, like even at this point, like I feel like Bobby with how he's been playing recently, you start him and Giannis, but Giannis at the 5. I mean, you still technically have the advantage mismatch wise because the center ain't gonna guard Giannis all the way out there.
Well, they say. Well, what I saw was that they're gonna give Boogie about 15-ish minutes a game to like lessen the load on Giannis. Really, that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
but
in that case, I mean, it's understandable because in that case, Bobby Portis will still probably be like that anchor that kind of like pulls the units together. Defensively, at least, like him and Cousins really didn't Cousins still play defense. Like he's not like a slouch, but it'll definitely probably be like, okay, Bobby and Thanasis is kind of like those rotational pieces where like you'll still have some sort of semi-rim presence depending on who's down there. So,
I mean, look, the risk is so low. The risk is so low. The contract's so small. If anything they get from him is a win. There's no harm in it.
Yeah.
It'll be better when Brook gets back, though. Honestly, like once Brook gets back and the units kind of can like get rounded out a little bit more, then it's okay. His cousin's a liability, and then we'll probably get booted because I'm pretty sure.
Once Brook gets back, his minutes will be gone.
Yeah, he'll probably be cut because I don't know if that contract is even guaranteed for the rest of the season.
I don't know if they would cut him, but
like because like the Clippers had him as a cheerleader. It's like when they brought him in, it's like he really didn't do much.
He played a little bit for the Clippers though. He played.
Yeah, for the most part, he was just beefing with people in the middle of the game. The bench. It's left to be seen. I think he debuts tomorrow. I think Wednesday. He debuts tomorrow, so it's up 20. Then I mean, my mouth will be shut. But
I mean, I don't know. I think he's still capable of doing that. No, obviously not every night, but I think he still has something left. I'm not willing to say that he's just a complete.
He's not a complete. Machine. Yeah, he's not a complete like lost cause, but
he's not a complete burnt toast right now.
Yeah, overall.
But like you guys said, we'll see what he can give them. Obviously, it's short term because when Brook comes back, his minutes will be gone. But I don't know if he'll be cut. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Ideally, he gets this role. He thrives in this role. He rebuilds his stock, and he can get on another team, either by trade or even if he requests a release. But I don't think the Bucks are gonna. I don't think the Bucks sign him just to release him right when Brook gets healthy. Especially
they probably see something else in that unit that he could be good for.
Well, yeah, and especially like if maybe if they know something about this injury with Brook that we don't know, like maybe if it's like chronic or if it might come back, then DeMarcus is just a insurance policy, especially if he's able to thrive in this role. So we'll see. That's all I got for that.
Okay, the other news coming out is with the Knicks and Kemba Walker.
Yeah.
He's been taken out of the rotation.
Completely.
Benched for Alec Burks.
Yep, Alec Burks. Mm-hmm. I would guess
is he washed? That's the question.
I wouldn't think.
I'm not 100%, but it's. I understand the word being used. I wouldn't say he's 100% washed, but he's getting there. It's getting there, and but with the trade, Boston trading him to OKC and then OKC buying him out and him signing with New York. Yeah. He can still contribute something. So he's probably a tradable asset. Not for much, but he's probably a tradable asset. And I would imagine sooner than later he'll be dealt. Where, for whom I don't know. I did see something earlier about like them, like the Knicks and Houston. It's like no.
So that would involve Wall, I'm guessing, if that was the case.
You're gonna have to give up a hell of a lot more in Kemba to get Wall with that bloated ass contract Wall has. I don't think they have that. I don't think they have the cap space to take on that.
The Knicks shouldn't want John Wall anyway.
He probably would add a different element. Well, as far as like defensively, like they'll actually have a defensive point guard instead of.
I mean, is he still a defensive point? I mean, yeah, Kemba doesn't give them anything defensively, but
no,
I don't want John Wall on the team, to be quite frank.
It's not like Wall is a lot down, but like passing lanes will probably still get you that. When healthy, still has that quick first step, still can score in bunches.
But that's all true. A lot. But with the way Burks is playing and the way Quickly's playing, you're going to trade for that, albatross of a contract and bench and have him off the bench, or are you going to take those guys Burks Quickly's minutes away and give them to him?
I mean, I feel like
you can't take either of their minutes away because
I mean, if anything, to like Burke, because Burke still gets shooting guard minutes though. That's the thing. Like, if anything, quickly,
he's
it'll
not
probably
a
be a
point
bigger
guard,
factor. Yeah, like because
Versus-
he's definitely like a 2 or a 3, but he just happens to handle the ball really well, so they want to run him at the 1.
but he's also the best defender, probably. Wing perimeter defender.
Best perimeter, at this point.
They shouldn't want Wall, in my opinion.
No, that's just something I read. I have no idea if there's any seriousness to it, but that was something I read earlier.
Yeah.
But his contract isn't Kemba's contract now, as it is with them. It's probably tradable if somebody thinks they can get, anything out of him. I don't know exactly what his contract is, but
that's the thing. It's like because even like seeing him like with the Celtics, it's like everybody kind of had like high expectations for like Kemba. It's like, oh, now he's on a winning team. He has more help. It just
the injuries.
I mean, it's the injury, but at the same time, like he doesn't look like anything, like at all. Like shooting wise, he has streaks of just shooting below 30. Defensively, that's never been his strong suit, so he can't really make up for it with other things. So what else is he really doing?
He's definitely done as a starter. His role now needs to be just the 6 man that can come off the bench, don't worry about defense, and just put up shots. I feel like going on with the second unit, he'll have more success. I'm not, like I said, I don't think he's incapable of playing basketball, but like you said, he's never been a defensive presence. It's just that now the offense is not offsetting anymore.
Yeah, because now the league is catching up to like his weaknesses more or less. Because even with his passing,
if he's giving you 20, if he's giving you 25, then I don't care about his defense. I don't care about his lack of defense.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say the league's catching up. He's always been a defensive liability, but he's dropping buckets, so he's putting pressure on their defense. Making them work hard now. But now, if you're not making them work, and then on the other end you giving up easy buckets, then I can't really have you out there. Now, I don't know about going from benching him to completely taking him out the rotation.
Because
Tibbs.
Because Tibbs has had a bunch of point guards, and I think like he was in Minnesota when they had D'Lo, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, he wasn't.
No.
Okay,
No.
Yeah, cause I'm trying to think of like, well, the only team I can think of is like when he was on his Bulls stint. But I mean, the Bulls team really had a lot of players that like played bulk minutes and only did one thing, and he never really like threw them out the rotation. So for Kemba to get taken out the rotation, like he got to be seeing something in practice too that just makes him think, okay, yeah, you're not doing nothing for us right now.
I mean, yeah, but also even those one-sided players that you speak of, the one side that they were always one-sided was defense. He's never favored,
offensive players
that at least don't give effort or just completely able to be taken advantage of defensively. Like names that come to mind, like the Ronnie Brewers, like these guys weren't great offensive players, but they hustled and they played good, tough-minded defense.
Tibbs wants maximum effort, maximum minutes, and now blame. I'm not going to put it all on Kemba because I just think in Kemba's current condition, he can't do it. It's not so much that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
He shouldn't be playing heavy minutes.
Yeah, I just think it's not a fit. Like he just can't do it.
Yeah, because also that's the thing with Tibbs too. Like if you're like seen as a top tier guy for the team, he's gonna want to run you out there like with some Frank Vogel stuff. Like you're gonna be out there for 34 minutes a game, and you better give him something. Man. Eventually, if you're not giving him anything, like
his shooting is really not like his shooting like percentages they're really not that bad.
You're on like 40.
And he's shooting 40% from three, shooting 80% from the line. Field goal percentage is 43. I mean, it's not the best, but it's really the difference between one shot.
He's like below average.
I mean, only on field goal percentage. I mean, I look at 3-point percentage. He's above average, shooting 40%.
I'm gonna say 40% shoot. He's buying a few other people like that category. He's like top 4 at least in that.
I mean, 40% is elite.
Yeah,
that's elite 3-point shooting. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I think it like you said, like one of you guys said, it's just not looking like it's a good fit.
Yeah, with me. It's like it's just I get it's just not the way Tibbs wants to run his team and he wants his players to play. It's not necessarily the fact that Kemba isn't willing to try. It's just he just can't do it.
Yeah.
Really, more or less,
Yeah.
even like if you look at like the rest of the team, like as far as like Fournier, like Evan Fournier, like he really wasn't known for defense, but he's putting in the effort, which means that he gets to play out there more. So it's it really just comes down to like if he wants to lock in on that side of the ball as well, and it seems like
I mean,
that's something he wants to do.
but I don't want to, like Graham said, I don't think it's a choice between him not wanting to. He's never been a great defender, and now with injuries, he's definitely probably lost some of that speed, some of that lateral quickness, and he's already small. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's really about effort. I don't think he wanted to get benched. I'm sure he understood from the get go that Tibbs wants effort, and he probably tried. But like Graham said, if he just can't do it, then it's kind of hard. I mean, it's easier for Evan to play defense. He's 6'7". You know what I mean? Like it's
the length is there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's way easier for him to not get abused on defense. Like a 6'7" 2 guard, that's pretty. He's one of the big. He's one of one of the taller 2 guards in the league, honestly. So
yeah,
I don't know, man.
It's sad.
It should be interesting.
Honestly,
you said it's sad. Yeah. I mean, maybe he'll bounce back. I think he still has something to give on the team coming like in and being that gunner off the bench. But the league has a weird way that it just depends on who they want to do it with. They have a weird way of just getting rid of people.
I was about to say real quick before we move on to something else. So like, if you had to think of a team, like whether he gets traded or just like gets dropped at some point, and like he has to find another team, what team do you think use his resources as like a 6-man or like a spark plug off the bench?
Off the bench, it's gonna be. You talking about good teams?
It could be like
middle of the way,
rebuilding something. Middle of the way, like to continue.
Well, a rebuilding team wouldn't. Well, they shouldn't want him. Yeah. So
that's like middle of the way, like outside looking in, and then like there's.
Let me see. Who's on? Well, they wouldn't trade him to them anyway. I don't know. To be honest, it's kind of tough. I'm trying to think about who lacks like a scoring punch, like off the bench.
For me, the only thing I can think of is like Spurs, but I don't think they're contending this year.
I was thinking about the Magic. Yeah, I was thinking about the Magic, but
the Magic will be temporary though until Fultz gets back.
Yeah. Perhaps maybe the Raptors, maybe coming off that bench.
That actually wouldn't be a bad idea too.
Yeah, Raptors or Pacers, just teams that kind of struggle scoring wise. I'd imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't think of I couldn't think of a fit off the top of my head. If they could find a way to, I guess maybe someone like a Denver.
Not true. Yeah.
I was thinking Denver, but
just because of the injuries alone, I'm not saying positional fit, but just all the injuries, they need help. So
it's interesting though too, because I mean, Aaron Gordon went over there, reinvented himself. So I mean, it could be that type of system that he needs to kind of get back in the swing of things.
True, but circumstance. Aaron Gordon was not washed or out of his physical prime or anything. Like,
it's like people just knew Aaron wanted to win. That's really the only reason.
But they really need him for would they really need him for big minutes though? See, that might be a good situation because they wouldn't necessarily need him for big minutes.
Guard-wise, it'd be like Island and Morris, and then you could just sprinkle him in if you want like a run or something. Like if he still like comes in, get you a couple threes, and then you send him back down. So.
We'll see. I don't know. He's got to get off the team first.
Yeah, before any of that.
Yeah. Can't really tell, with Tibbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of a logical fit, honestly. I mean, I could see. I'm not saying in the logic sense, but could the Clippers think about it? Could the Lakers think about it?
Maybe. We don't need any
I'm just-
more.
you're telling me.
old,
You're telling me.
maybe
it wouldn't
washed guys.
You're telling me it wouldn't even be a consideration.
I hope not.
If y'all packaged Rondo and Bradley up, they just got dipped off the same day, and y'all ended up with Kemba, I feel like y'all would take that.
I would absolutely not trade Rajon Rondo for Kemba Walker. I wouldn't even think about it.
Wow.
There is zero desire for me to do that trade because of what I've seen from Kemba this year. When we get to the playoffs, Rondo will be infinitely more valuable than this version of Kemba Walker right now. Infinitely more valuable.
That's true.
So it's just like, neither of them. Even if we got Kemba for Rondo, like neither of them should really be playing at this point right now.
Bulk minutes.
So it's like, and then like Kemba would just come there and take minutes away from our young guys, and I don't want that. I need these young guys to get minutes, prove themselves, maintain these minutes, and kick these washing machines out the house.
Got like 8 washing machines. At this point, ain't that many clothes in there. Like everybody just
Avery Bradley is a spin cycle. Okay, like he's been abysmal for the Lakers.
Avery Bradley is a spin cycle. That's a new one. Okay, I will note that. I will note that.
That's a quotable.
Listen, Avery has had a good career. Made some money, played well. But listen, right now, no, it's bad. Like you can't be the guy known as like a defender and then not be great on defense, and then you're bringing nothing offensively most of the time.
It would be pretty much two people in the backcourt doing the same thing. Only difference is Kemba can shoot.
He can go to the Clippers all he wants to. Yeah, take him to go to the Clippers.
Wow.
Yeah, even though they don't need him either.
Reggie does that for him. Hey, Reggie played D a little bit.
Shit, Reggie's just more athletic at this point. But there's no reason for him to add Kemba Walker. You got Eric Bledsoe and Reggie Jackson.
Much.
One of which is a good defender, and one is capable of playing defense. So it just doesn't. It doesn't make sense to me.
Great position for him at this point. It's hard to figure anything out for what team can use his sources.
Yeah, I don't know where he could go. He fuck around and be out the league in a minute.
Be in China.
Shanghai Sharks.
Or in the G League, some trying to rebuild himself. I don't know.
I never understood why they send like veteran players to the G League. Like, what's the point of doing that? That doesn't make any sense.
Most reasons are for rehab.
Besides that, I'm talking about like when they signed, like when Michael Beasley was recently signed to a G League team. What's the point of that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know.
For reading the G League, but that's tough.
I don't know.
Any discussion at all about the fact that the Nets are seemingly basically doing the same thing with Blake?
What do you mean?
As far as like benching him out of their rotation?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, he got took out of the rotation, I think, the same day.
Yeah.
I've already seen Blake for what it was, honestly. More or less, like, with the Nets, his role really isn't anything outside of just, like, trying to draw fouls and, like, getting in the way. He's shooting 16% from the three, so he's not making any points. So he's not making buckets. Ain't handling the ball because that's what Harden is for. So more or less, anything that he's developed over the years has seemed to just like revert. He's like rookie Blake without the bounce.
They wish they could have rookie Blake right now.
Yeah.
He's been shooting terrible.
If they had Blake, like then like to take him out for Millsap, he's averaging 3 points per game. That says a lot.
Both them boys right now is like,
both of them look like garbage, and I think Aldridge is older than both of them.
But that's the thing. Aldridge, that's what I was trying to tell people. Aldridge was never. He was never to like a quote unquote washed point. You know what I mean? Like his last year with San Antonio, he had a bad start to the year, but the year before he was like an all-star. Like he could still play.
Plus, he has an old school style. So I mean, back to the basket, back to the basket and shooting. There's still things on the court that he can obviously do at a very high level.
He also has more size to him.
Way more size.
So he's 6'11". So I mean,
11 wider frame.
You can put him in the post, and like you can run schemes with him. Like if Blake was making his shots, ideally you would still be able to do that stuff with him, but he's just shooting so bad. Like, you can't pick and pop with him or anything. He's just missing every fucking thing. I have no idea what's going on. But I mean, I don't love their team anyway, to be honest. So,
and the team outside of Harden, Durant, Harris is on thin ice too, because I don't even know what he's doing this year. Like, they're probably gonna do some renovating.
Did he play today? Is he hurt?
Harris?
Yeah, he didn't play.
No, he didn't play.
He didn't play today?
No, he might be hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that team needs some renovation. Not even like they just need like some strong like
they need fucking Kyrie.
At this point,
that's what they need.
They need Cam.
No. He's playing.
Playing now, yeah. So,
but I mean, they need Kyrie. Is what they need. They need their third star because this team was always top heavy. That was their identity.
At the same time, like I mean, even if Kyrie comes back, it's like shoot.
Nah. Kyrie come back. It's
like the bench unit is still very lackluster.
It don't matter. To me, at least in my opinion, if James Harden is going to be back to his self, which he had 30, 40 night, if he's back to that, then Kyrie's going to be a bucket. KD's going to be a bucket. You can have one of them in the game at all points.
Wait, is Patty playing for them?
Yeah, Patty's the start. Patty's starting.
Patty starts. Okay. Well, actually, their bench unit probably be a lot better if Kyrie comes back because Patty can lead off.
Yeah, but my thing, like, if he comes back, you can have one of these guys out, or one of these guys in the game at all points in time.
And I say Harden with the bench players.
Kyrie with some bench players, KD with some bench players. There should be no point in the game where all three of them are out the game because you just don't need to.
Yeah.
You can mix and match their minutes depending on like who they play better with. So like James Harden likes to pick and roll. He likes playing off that. You can match him up.
Claxton.
Or Claxton and LaMarcus a little bit more.
Pick and pop.
Kyrie and Kevin, you can put spacing around them. Kevin likes to operate on that little elbow.
Yeah. Shoot Bruce Brown if you just want to chuck and rebounds. apparently he got a post look now. So I mean.
Yeah, I guess he got something, don't he? Yeah. Good old Bruce.
Yeah, look like Bruce Bond minus the J.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Blake gets back in the good graces. I don't know, but I didn't know he got completely taken out the rotation. That's actually pretty sad.
I mean, they said like his stats pretty much this year have been abysmal, and I don't know.
He's averaging like 5.5, like
he's
around 5 rebounds.
Yeah,
5 2. Yeah,
but I feel like it's the shooting percentages that are really affecting it. I don't think they would care if he was averaging 5.5 if he was just shooting decent. Like you taking 3 shots a game and you making 2 of them. Or 1 of them every now and again. But shit, you shooting. What was the number PTP you said? 16%?
16% from 3. Yeah.
God damn.
But
Boy,
last year, I mean,
yeah,
like
you can't
last
hit
year
the
he
side of a
played.
barn.
I feel last year he played the same amount of minutes roughly,
And
and
he
gave
was hitting
them
38%.
gave them 10, 4, and 2. Even then, like he passed even a little bit better than he did. Rebounding is better from this year, like by 2. Well, yeah, by a quarter. But
Yeah, he was literally just playing better at almost every point last year.
I don't know what would be the difference though. I mean, the team is exactly the same. Like
Shit, he old. I don't know. Who knows?
Like the center they drafted don't even play. Like Sharp don't play. Don't play. Like none of the guys outside of Cam that they drafted like was high enough to really like our attention. So he's old, but he's just slipping up. Like I don't know. Yeah.
All right. You want to get to the meat? Let's get to the meat here. We've had the potatoes. Let's get to the meat. College football playoff rankings came out earlier. Georgia number 1, of course. No question there. Number 2, Michigan.
Questionable.
Questionable. Number
Wow.
3, Alabama. Number 4, Cincinnati. Number 5, Oklahoma State. Number 6, Notre Dame. Thoughts? I'm sure PTP has many, but
Okay, I'll play devil's advocate on this. 1, I'm happy that Michigan is in the top 4 finally. 2 might be a bit of a reach because I mean, obviously, Bama did win the other night. Granted, it wasn't the prettiest game. They did win last night. So the other night
is winning.
So like that's what I'm saying. Like more or less, if you're basing off that, I kind of think they were like basing off of, I guess, like just them going down the wire with Auburn. I doubt that plays a factor. It might. Who knows? But
to be honest with you, looking at it, because the committee is so wishy-washy, I think really just basically looking at the schedules, both have 1 loss. The SEC is down this year. Let's be honest, it is. As a whole,
so.
the SEC is down. The Big Ten's been competitive, at least. At least it's been competitive. And then if you look at it, both teams have 1 loss. Who's got the better loss? Michigan does.
Okay, but Auburn is an inconsistent team, not a bad team.
No, I'm just saying. But Auburn is
have
6
two top 25 wins.
But there's Auburn 6-6, and the SEC as a whole is down, and even so looking at Alabama's schedule from the start to finish, even whipping my team, we were ranked at the time, so that's probably looked at. But just looking at it, trying to look at it from the committee's ass backward perspective, they've both lost 1 game, right? Michigan's loss is better than Alabama's loss. That's for sure. And then really, you can prop the SEC up all you want, but it's also the eye test. Who's playing better right now?
Between Alabama and Michigan?
And you could say at least the last couple of weeks, you could say Michigan's looked like a better team than Alabama has. I hate to say that. God, it pains me to do it, but they have.
We hate to speak facts around here. I thought we were general speaking people.
I just said I hate to say it. I didn't say it wasn't a fact. I just said I hate to say it, but they have played better football the committee suffers from recency bias because their criteria, it seems, for how they rank seems to vary from week to week as to where teams are ranked, who's where, whatever it is. It never seems to be consistent. But I'm trying to look at it in terms of, okay, well, if they're looking at the recent eye test, then the last couple of weeks, yes, Michigan has looked better than Alabama, so they're put above. They both have 1 loss. Who lost to a better team? Michigan did.
Now that I think about it, with the whole Auburn thing, like going back to when he said like they're an inconsistent team but not a bad team. Really, that probably does work against Alabama in a way because like
It
Auburn,
does, but it's also
Auburn's not competing and went to four
That doesn't
overtime.
work. That doesn't.
But
work
you're
against
also
that.
but you
No,
could
no, no, no. Hold on. Let me address that because that doesn't work against Alabama just because they're inconsistent. Them being inconsistent means that they can be competitive any week, any given week. They could beat
and they have
anybody
been,
any
and they
given week.
were they were
They've literally beaten
they've been
Ole Miss and they've beaten Arkansas. Ole Miss is
and
literally
they've
8.
been in pretty much every game. I don't
Yeah.
think they've been blown out, but that also speaks to the well, Auburn's good but inconsistent. You could say that about probably most of the SEC after Alabama and Georgia this year. They're good, but they're inconsistent.
Mm.
I don't know if I can
So
say that because I have Ole Miss 8, and I have Ole Miss is 8. Kentucky, Texas A&M, they're all in the top 25. So I don't know if I can sit up here and say.
I mean,
but are they really?
top 25 just comes down to like a lot of teams probably might not have enough firepower to at least compete with them just a little bit. I don't think that means that the SEC like has been like impressive. Like there's been years where it's been in the top 10 had at least 3 or 4 SEC teams. This year it only has like what 2?
No, I get that, but that could
3?
just
Yeah,
mean
3.
the talent and like recruiting is just picking up in other areas. But that doesn't mean that these teams aren't still good teams.
Not that they're bad, but I mean, if it's a seismic shift, recent years to now, they say it's progression. So I mean,
Honestly,
it's still 2 in the top 4 and 3 in the top 10.
Yeah,
I think at the end of the day, trying to get in the mind of the committee, which is impossible because again, I think their criteria changes every week. They're absolutely inconsistent in how they do this, but whatever. I just think the way they ranked it this week is it's based on at least the last couple of weeks. It's the eye test. That's why Michigan is ranked ahead of Alabama because eye test the last couple of weeks, Michigan has looked like a better team. I'm not saying they are a better team. I'm saying they looked like a better team. Alabama has not looked great the last couple of weeks. Michigan has. That's why they're ranked ahead. That's my assumption. So it is what it is.
Wolverine's on top. That's all I know.
What'd you say?
Wolverine's on top. That's all I know.
You're clearly not on top. You're actually number 2.
But
we on top of the U. We on top.
We top 2 and we number 2.
I'm gonna stay on the Cincinnati. I'm gonna stay on the Cincinnati train. They're still in it. They win this week. They're definitely in. There's no way they're not in if they win this week.
So we're not gonna talk about your boy sneaking into the top 5. The team that you was saying needed some respect on him.
Who? Me or Gramps?
Gramps. Like Oklahoma State slid into the top 5.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. It was a good game. Do I honestly think they're one of the 4 best teams in the country? No, I don't. They're great. They're a great story, but
they're probably better than Cincinnati.
It comes down to them getting in. I mean, I can see Oklahoma State getting there.
Probably though. I mean, but again, going back to the eye test, Cincinnati is now doing what they should have done early in the season for the committee and the detractors. What's been held against them is that
what are they
now doing? They're winning big.
I mean, they were winning big early.
They're not eking out. They're winning. Yeah, but again, recency. Eye test. They look better, and they're blowing teams out. And now they've got their conference championship. I did not see where Houston was on the list, but they are.
They're 21.
21. Okay, so like I said, that there's no conceivable way Cincinnati wins that game and they're not in the playoff. You can't leave them out. Obviously, if they lose, yeah, okay, fine. They'll find a way to keep them out.
Oh, if they lose, they're going to be out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they win.
There's no
but they
conceivable
win.
way they stay.
They win. They're in. Obviously, uh, Michigan's playing Iowa, right? It's Iowa.
Yeah.
I'm
Iowa.
gonna check.
13.
I think it's Iowa. It's Iowa
What does that mean?
because it's supposed to be. Well, because I'm thinking of the matchup, the conference championships, like who might win or who's
Yeah, it's
going to
Iowa,
win or
yeah.
lose.
Mhm.
All right. So, barring like a disaster, I'm just going to assume Michigan's going to win. Then you got Alabama and Georgia. Cincinnati's playing Houston. Who is OK State play? Is it Baylor?
They're in the Pac-12, right?
OK State's Big 12.
They play number
Big
9
12.
Baylor,
They play Baylor,
who dropped a
and
spot.
and I assume Notre Dame's done. Yeah, their season's done.
Possibly. Yeah.
Yeah,
'cause
their
they're
season's
independent.
done. Their season's done. So, for hypothetical sake, let's say Georgia wins.
Keep one.
OK State wins.
Alabama Alabama probably have to be gone.
Yeah.
Does OK State go? Is it Georgia, Michigan, Cincinnati, OK State?
That would be
How
the next.
did
That'd be
how
the
did
next
they
best.
leapfrog Notre Dame?
Notre Dame is 6th.
Notre Dame is 6. Yeah, but Notre Dame was 5 last week.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
How did Oklahoma State just leapfrog just because they had the game?
Because they beat Oklahoma and Notre Dame beat Stanford, who's been pretty bad this year. Even though they blew them out, it's Oklahoma
Stanford.
State. Because Oklahoma State was what, 6th? Were they 6 last week?
7.
They were like 7.
7.
Yeah.
All right, so it wasn't a big jump, but obviously beating Oklahoma, I guess, put them above Notre Dame, beating what? I think Stanford won 3 games all year.
So Stanford really hadn't been won much.
Yeah.
So,
I guess that would jump.
but then so yeah,
Alabama. I just know Alabama better beat Georgia because Oklahoma State don't belong, man. They don't belong in
if they beat Baylor, that's
they've already
that's
beat
not a
Baylor.
lock. They have, but
They don't belong.
doesn't mean
in
they'll
the
beat
top
them
4.
again.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so all right, what was I? All right, so Georgia beats Alabama, Oklahoma State loses. Who's the 4? Same
Cincinnati.
4.
With
Same
Notre Dame
4?
at the moment, my same 4.
So
Same 4?
if Alabama beats Georgia, then it should be
No,
Michigan.
I'm saying.
Wait,
No, what I'm saying if Georgia beats Alabama, but Oklahoma State loses to Baylor, who's the 4?
Oh, Alabama.
Does Alabama stay in, or does
Yes.
Notre Dame leap
Nope.
up to 4?
Nope.
Notre Dame would have to be considered, though.
Oh, sure, for sure.
They have to be considered. Like a lot of people would probably pardon the language. A lot of people would probably just say fuck college football if Bama lost 2 games and still are in the top 4. Like I would be confused.
A lot of people would really cry havoc if they
like at that point it would just basically be like, okay, we can't go a postseason in college football without Nick Saban. We just can't.
But it is Georgia.
Yeah, that's true.
Georgia,
but at the end of the day, it's still
They're the only other undefeated team besides Cincinnati, and they are number 1.
right. But
the only way Bama would stay in is if they were able to beat Georgia, because then
it's still too. But if you got to look at the committee's weird logic here, it still would be 2 losses.
And their weird logic though is like they are playing Georgia number 1.
Right.
They've been number 1 for shit.
But then it'll be 2 losses, and then you have to look at 2-loss Alabama
versus
and
Notre Dame with one ranked
one
win.
loss, but they also have 1 loss, and that loss is to probably number 3 at that point, Cincinnati. That's their only loss.
I get it. I mean,
Chris just wants to see Alabama stay in the top 4 no matter what.
No, I'm not some big
Oh,
Alabama
no.
fan. I just don't see it, and I don't agree with the logic either. Like they've played
College
harder
football-
competition, so the chances of them losing is higher. It just makes
college
sense.
football wants the big boys.
Well, obviously, yeah. I mean, it's been SEC Big Ten for a little bit, with a little bit of ACC sprinkled in there for like the past 10 years.
And Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess in Notre Dame when they
Notre Dame and
when they got clapped
and Oregon.
Even with Ian Book, they were competing. With
Oregon's been in
a bit, okay, and sprinkled in a little bit of ACC, Pac-12, and independent.
Clemson.
Just a little bit of sprinkles.
I forgot Clemson. Good lord.
Clemson is 20 at 9-3.
Ungalele is selling right now. God.
Yeah.
They lost their first game. They lost to Georgia.
Came out the gate
10-3.
Yeah. That's flawed though, but I mean, I don't know. If Bama stays in there with 2 losses, then I don't know what it'll be. It would make sense, but at the same time, it would just be it would leave a really weird taste.
If people were honestly
I'd be fine with it. Seriously, I'd be fine with it. I'll be fine with Notre Dame not being in it, being the last team with 1 loss not being in it. I'd be fine with it, bro. I would be, because if Oklahoma lost and Alabama lost, Notre Dame would be the only one loss team that's in the conversation that wouldn't be in it.
Yeah.
Are you for the expansion?
The playoff
into how many teams?
I don't. What would you?
I didn't really think about it, so I mean, I would probably say no. That's why I asked.
I think it should.
I already said,
but
a lot of football games.
I actually don't agree. I actually think they should expand the playoff and use the NFL model.
1 game in, 1 game out.
6 teams. The real NFL model. 6 teams.
One.
6 teams. 6 teams. Top 2 get a bye. The other ones play, quote unquote, like wild card games to face the top 2. It should be 6.
That's what I think. The ball game.
I mean, because really, you're only talking really like as to who could maybe get in. That's really it. So just take the top 6. Number 1 and 2 get a bye. 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5. Then play each other in. And then you can get other bowls involved in like those quote unquote like wild cardish games to expand that, and that certainly wouldn't be a problem for college football because those games would mean more. And then you still have your semifinals like you would have it, and your championship like you'd have it. But you get 2 other like massive bowl games.
Yeah. I mean, 10 probably doesn't seem OD, but 6 probably would be like a happy medium to where like teams still have a chance to get in, and then like you said, like if 1 and 2 get in a break, like I mean, obviously, I don't think any team would complain about that if they change it to that type of format.
There usually is one team that every year that you get your 4 playoff teams. There's usually one team on the outside that has a legit argument for being in it, but okay, well, let's just say for example, hypothetically, Georgia wins, Michigan wins, Cincinnati wins, all right,
yeah,
Oklahoma State wins, and Alabama still gets in. Then Oklahoma State and Notre Dame have beefs to get in.
You said Oklahoma State wins?
Yes. But Alabama still gets in. Then this is the scenario that
that's not what I said though.
No, I'm saying that. I'm saying okay, if Georgia beats Alabama and Michigan beats Iowa and Cincinnati beats Houston, but Alabama still ends up getting in, then Oklahoma State Oklahoma State wins too. then Oklahoma State and Notre Dame have legit beefs to get in, then that supports my theory of college football expanding the playoffs to something like the NFL model. Top two get a bye, and you do 6 teams. You don't go 8, you don't go 12 or any of that. No, that probably no. I think it's going to expand eventually.
But I'm saying if Oklahoma, like, I kind of went off y'all logic because I remember I asked how did Oklahoma leapfrog Notre Dame, and y'all was talking about the Oklahoma State playing OU and Notre Dame playing Stanford. Like, Oklahoma State has a ranked opponent left. If they beat that ranked opponent and Alabama loses against their ranked opponent, I mean, yes, Georgia is better than Baylor, but there's no way that Alabama will remain.
No, and Oklahoma. But who did Oklahoma State lose to? Anybody remember? Iowa State.
Oklahoma State.
Iowa State. Yeah, Iowa State. But I mean, what are they there for? What? 7-5. Yeah.
Not great, but
great. But yeah, they lost to their other ranked opponents. They lost to Iowa 27-17, and they lost to OU 28-21.
Yeah. Iowa State was 5-2.
Yeah.
What time it is? So.
Yeah, they lost to Texas Tech as well.
Is that the 62-yard field goal game? Or whatever it was? Wasn't it?
I do not know.
I think it was. I think that was Iowa State that Texas Tech went on the walk-off 62-yarder.
It might have been.
I think. Yeah. It'll be interesting. It should be a fun Saturday.
I say a lot of things could definitely shift after most of them conference games. So.
Oh, there could still be chaos.
Yeah.
What if all those teams? What if everybody loses? I mean, obviously, if Alabama, if Georgia and Alabama, if Alabama wins, they're both in. They're both in.
Yeah, they're both in.
Yeah, Alabama and Georgia stay in. Georgia's not going to fall out of the top 4 for losing.
If Michigan loses, they got 2 losses.
Well, no, I'm just saying. But if
Michigan loses, then I mean, I could definitely see them trying to throw in like OK State or like a Notre Dame, depending on like what happens with their stuff.
Man,
potentially.
Listen, man.
Chris, there's no other team.
Michigan should. No, I'm saying Michigan should stay.
Assume.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
if Oklahoma State, if they lose, Michigan should also stay, in my opinion. But
if Oklahoma State loses and Michigan loses, Alabama wins, then
Alabama, Georgia,
then Cincinnati, Notre Dame.
Ew.
Cincinnati, Notre Dame.
Michigan will get left out. Michigan will get left out. Notre Dame will get in.
Yeah.
Put Ohio State back in there. Where they belong.
Where they belong. Wow. Where they belong.
Where they belong. Michigan belongs there too. That's why y'all won. You know.
Yeah.
But then they drop 5 spots.
Yeah, they plummeted.
You know, I kind of
come on.
You know, in a way, I kind of hope for chaos because next week's show will be hella interesting if that happens. Oh boy,
5 spots is hellas.
I see, like, they should have been moved down to like 5.
Who?
Minimum. Ohio State. Like 5 at
minimum. No, I agree. But I will say it's consistent because they're the first 2-loss team. So I get that. It looks like that's what they based it off of.
Because if they lost 2 games and like they just dropped 5,
directly
else
under
had
them,
lose 2.
Yeah, the next 9 teams under them are all 10-2. Ole Miss, Baylor, Oregon, Michigan State, BYU, Iowa, Oklahoma, Pittsburgh, Wake Forest, all 10-2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Iowa's not a really good 2-loss team, to be honest with you. But
yeah.
I mean, is Cincinnati a really good no-loss team?
They're good enough.
Well, Iowa's good enough. They only lost 2 games. I mean, you know.
If we're going off this metric,
I mean, they beat 2 ranked opponents. It looked like. And they fuck around beat 3. Y'all keep putting that out there. They're gonna look like me last week when I was like, Ohio State gonna beat Michigan, and I look like a fool. So
I said they were gonna beat them too.
Hey, well, shit. It'd be a cold day on this earth before I say, well, I'll be damned to see Iowa with a dub on the next weekend. I'll be damned.
You never know. You never know.
Like, barring anything weird, unless Hutchinson gets hit by a bus and Ojabo can't make it to the plane, or whatever way we get into it. Unless they can't make it, that's the only way I see something happen.
You know.
Yeah.
It's any given Saturday though, so I mean, level.
I'm predicting Alabama to beat Georgia though, so don't even worry about it.
Not the way they've looked lately. But
I mean, they're gonna have their full attention. They could have easily probably.
Their defense looks a little suspect.
Okay, can't look that suspect because I mean they went to 4 OTs and it's only in 20s. So I mean,
is it like 40s? They made it like 40 something to 40.
No, it was 20.
No, it was 24 to 22.
24-22.
So at the end of regulation, it was 10-10. So I mean, clearly defense is doing something.
Defense was stout. Yeah.
Well, in comparison, Georgia's defense is.
Oh yeah.
Georgia's defense probably might hold them to 10, and Georgia might have 20. So I mean, you can flip a lot of ways.
Yeah, Georgia's offense is good enough. They're not great, but they're good enough. That defense is disgusting. But I don't think anybody score over 14 on them the whole season. I don't think anybody did. I mean,
I will check that out really, really quickly. I don't,
because that's like
that sounds extreme.
That's that's absurdly good. I don't know that anybody did.
The highest scoring team against them was Tennessee. They scored 17 points. That I did not know that defense was like that. My lord.
Yes, that defense is absurdly good. That's yeah.
They held Clemson to 3 points.
Stanford at 14.
Where you see Stanford at? I'm tripping.
Stanford.
Stanford.
Yeah.
You know.
Where you see that? I don't see 14. I see 3, 7, 13, 0, 0, 10, 13, 7, 6, 17, 7, 0. We talking about Georgia?
Yeah.
I literally don't see 14. You talking about South Carolina?
Oh, like it's in Georgia. At the end of that has Georgia and Bama on their schedule. Notre Dame at 19 and then Stanford at 14 in a game against them.
Notre Dame? Huh? I'm confused. It's fine.
Preliminaries, who knows? At least I think I'm looking at the right thing.
I don't know if you are, man, but you got Georgia Tech as the last game.
Last game. Yeah,
the 45-0.
The 45-0. I think I'm looking at probably like these games in like, the season started in September, so it's time frame. Maybe I screwed up mad far. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, but it's definitely impressive.
Yeah. I mean, even disregarding that, I mean, like, yeah, to hold a lot of teams below 10 is kind of crazy.
Yeah. I will ask though, are any of these teams that they're playing? Because I don't know. Are any of these teams particularly high flying offenses?
At that point, whether you're high flying or not, if defense is clamping, you got the second coming of Randy Moss and D-Jack. Clamp. If this was like that.
All right. Well, we're through that. Sure.
Griff, you taking us out?
Oh, okay.
I thought,
Well, no, I said if if there was anything else on the docket for the night, and it was like crickets.
I didn't hear that at all.
part.
Yeah, that cut out completely.
Oh,
the coaching news over the past few days.
yeah, we could go into that for a couple minutes.
Lincoln Riley's going to USC. Speculation on which one of the quarterbacks from the previous team that he was on is going to USC with him.
Possibly, and his deal is disgusting. They bought him homes. They paid for other homes for him, private jet, all that. And he comes out and says something. What did he say?
I think I've seen his interview from earlier.
Oh hell, some unhappy people. They need to they need to score on the next coach, or they're going to be screwed. I don't like the other move. I don't like. Honestly, don't like it.
The Brian Kelly.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Why?
It just seems like a really weird fit.
Yeah, I don't
for the way that he seems to coach, and then going to a team like that, it would be like a very drastic adjustment.
If he can recruit like he recruits Notre Dame, or like he recruits the trenches, it could work in that regard. But
it's like with LSU's teams, at least college football wise, of course, like with the way they've been known to kind of do things, where it's like they're like receivers, foreigners, and stuff like that. It'd be like a drastic shift in like
it would absolutely
recruiting approach, honestly.
Yes, because you'd be out there recruiting the Midwest and getting them big corn-fed boys for the trenches, and they'd be playing. Yeah,
take them from the Midwest to the Bayou.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I mean they go eat well. That is the problem, but thematically, I mean, like obviously, like the whole school as a whole, like have to transform his regime. Definitely gonna be something to look at, like if he really starts and what happens with the team moving forward. But
yeah, I'm just not so sure about that one. Honestly, Riley, I get, but
yeah. The Riley stuff. What do you guys think? Like, if Rattler Williams was to transfer, who do you think would actually?
Well, Rattler. See, the thing is, Rattler already is.
Rattler's already going to USC.
Well, no, he's entering the transfer portal. I don't know if he's going to go to USC, or I don't even know if Riley would want him. If he benched him for Williams, would he want him?
Anyway, I mean,
Williams isn't saying much yet, because I think, like I had said this, I think he's waiting to see who they get as their next coach before he decides that.
Sure, like what other coach out there could really be like, okay, like Williams is gonna stay. Like what coach really brings that? It brings that to like more fruition.
Well, all right. If you could see, the problem is the two names that come to mind that don't fit perfectly, but they fit to a certain extent. Like I understand the rumor about Kingsbury with at least what he's doing right now.
Yeah,
would probably be a good coach for a quarterback. I don't know about the team or how he'd recruit, but as far as like for a quarterback, that would be attractive. The other name I've heard mentioned as a candidate for a lot of schools is Kiffin.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not saying it's a fit, but I mean, as far as like being an offensive-minded team, it's certainly that in that kind of continuity for Oklahoma, that would be it would make sense. I don't think he's a fit, but as far as the way Oklahoma likes to do things with their offense and or at least how they've been doing it, it makes sense from that perspective.
Yeah.
because he's an offensive coach. So, but
I mean, the schools that Lane has been involved with over the past few years, I mean, he's kind of been. I'm not gonna say like they're like competing like at a high level, but I mean like they haven't been like really bad ran teams that he's been involved with over the course of these few years. So I mean, him being in that position really wouldn't be. It'd be odd, like LSU, but he can make that work.
yeah,
See why not?
Mm.
Yeah.
Kingsbury, I mean, from what I'm seeing, I mean, like he hasn't really declined the idea of being like a replacement coach in Oklahoma because like he's pretty much saying like he's focused on the Bears and trying to get the schematics done. Like it's not really a big priority. I think he hasn't really declined it flat out yet. Would kind of lead people to believe like I don't know how far Arizona goes because he's been with Arizona for like what 3 seasons now.
It's his third year.
Yeah, so,
He's not gonna.
yeah, I mean, people said the same thing about Harborough, and he was like coaching pretty well in the league, and he went back to college.
Yeah,
so.
but he left when the 49ers when that kind of dynasty was winding down, like the Richard Shermans and those guys were getting a little older.
Yeah.
Like you have a young budding superstar quarterback.
Yeah. This team is at their peak.
Yeah, you're in the midst of your best season, team talent wise and success wise. Like,
yeah. Be an interesting thing. Like if he does, like I don't think he really goes back either. But until he like really just puts his foot down, is like I'm not going to take the job. They hit me up as many times as they want. Like I'm just not taking it. If that happens, a lot of people are gonna just keep on speculating it, put it up to him. So,
gentlemen, you want to give your socials to the fine folks?
yeah, you guys can follow me on Chris D. Collins at Instagram and Twitter. Also, be on the lookout for our upcoming Instagram page.
of course,
yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
We will definitely keep you guys updated to that when we get that launched, and definitely follow us.
Well, I'm just go. Follow me on Twitter at PTP_99.
You could you can follow me on Twitter at Tony the Real, and of course, please follow us as a group on Twitter at Going for 3 Pod. And with that being said,
One more thing.
Yes.
I don't know if for any listeners that don't follow the Twitter, the podcast is also on Apple Podcasts. So if you've been listening to it on Spotify and you're on Apple and you hate it, and now's your chance to listen to it on a different platform. Just want to throw that out there. Just for anybody that doesn't on that type of stuff.
Very true. Yes, also follow us on Apple Pods for those who wish to do so. With that being said, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for following. And have a good night. Have a good week, everyone, and stay blessed.
Yes.